If you're an undergraduate student or a graduate student, come to Germany this summer with the History of Science department to study evolution and Victorian literature. We'll be travelling to the University of Oldenburg in northern Germany to study the impact that Charles Darwin's work had on Victorian fiction, fiction written both in England and in the United States. Darwin's work had a significant impact on Victorian society, and we can see this through contemporary literature and fiction. We'll be studying 3 books in particular: Charles Kingsley's evolutionary fairy tale Water Babies, H.G. Wells's Time Machine, and Charlotte Perkins Gilman's novel Herland. In Kingsley's work, this Victorian fairy tale written in 1863, Charles Kingsley, who was chaplain to the Queen and also a correspondent and colleague of Charles Darwin, wrote a fairy story that's deeply evolutionary in its narrative. Kingsley tried through this book to explore the various ways in which science might not have to be incompatible with religion, and he made a strong case to his contemporaries that religious ideas needed to keep up with the discoveries of science. You'll have heard of H.G. Wells, the author of The Time Machine and War of the Worlds and The Invisible Man and many other science fiction works. We'll be looking at Wells's Time Machine. This is a book that again is deeply evolutionary. The time traveller travels forwards to find that the human race has degenerated into 2 distinct races, the Morlocks, who live underground, and the Eloi, who live above ground. And the fantasy and tale that develops is quite fascinating. As a young man, Wells studied under Darwin's bulldog, Thomas Henry Huxley, at the Royal College of Science, and the book is filled with science and changing ideas of heredity and evolution. Finally, we'll come to the United States and study Charlotte Perkins Gilman's novel Herland. This was written in 1916. Gilman, a feminist and socialist, adapted her story to take account of the latest insights of evolutionary science, drawing heavily from Darwin's Descent of Man, his second great book on evolution, to show how society might develop to give women agency and control of society. So why Germany? Why Oldenburg? For one particular reason. The University of Oldenburg is home to the Fiction Meets Science program, a unique grouping of academics, graduate students and undergraduates who are dedicated to looking at the connections between science and fiction, a true interdisciplinary study. As well as our perspective from the history of science, academics there specialise and are renowned for their competence in literary studies, and so we'll bring these 2 areas of study to bear on these books. We'll be building international collaborations and friendships with not just between the universities, but between the 2 groups of students who will be studying together. The University of Oldenburg, located in northern Germany, is both rural but also a thriving city. It's got unique architecture and a busy shopping centre. We'll also have a number of excursions planned, one of which would be to the German Emigration Centre in Bremerhaven on the north coast. Many families who originate from Germany left from Bremerhaven and then sailed to the United States. Our trip will also take us through Berlin. We'll land and spend a few days there at the start and return to Berlin again at the end of our course of study. You'll have the chance to see the historic Brandenburg Gate. You can visit Checkpoint Charlie. And of course, we'll see the Auschwitz Museum. If you're interested in this program, take a look at the Education Abroad website and search for the History of Science in Germany program. There you'll find more information and be able to contact the Education Abroad office. But if you wish for further information about the course, you can also contact me through my email address on the screen below.